out on the blow up the control panel. There's a diagram of the main engine. If you're ever in submarines, it's all very similar. I mean, it's all in these little manuals about so thick, and each manual shows you what's in the back, what to be looking for, which buttons to push. What when you do watches and you have to go back there and check all that stuff, you know what to check. You know, all this stuff. You don't want anything to malfunction or have a hazard or something like that. There's you go down pretty deep, you don't want to have any emergency fire or something like that. Yeah, if it does, it's all over. And it's the same way up there. You know, you don't want to have a whole bunch of malfunctions and stuff. So it's not a whole lot different. Here's all the electrical power system. That's very similar to a submarine. It's not any different. You know, you learn where all the fuel cells are at, liquid oxygen tank. We had that in submarines. Liquid hydrogen tanks, ground service oxygen supply. Yeah, same stuff. You do a walk around and you learn where all that's at, and then they have a list, checklist, and you know, they ask you questions and you tell them where all that's at. You know. That's how you used to get qualified submarines. It took about a year to get fully qualified. I took a little bit longer, so I was a slow learner. Well, ginseng tea is great when you're ready to get sleep for the evening. Here's the external tank. Shows the inside. You know. This is an operator's manual. I mean, it's basically what they're looking at. The one that they use will probably have a plastic cover, but it's still the same thing. In fact, they have I've seen a clipboard, a smaller version of this that they had on the shuttle. It floats around. They have one in by the control panel. It just floats there, and they can flip through and look. But they're also getting. There's somebody down in Mission Control, they're wearing a headset, and there's somebody in Mission Control that's going through these, you know, making sure that they check all this stuff too, so it's not like that they're having to look through the manual all the time. They're just getting communication, check so-and-so, check so-and-so, check so-and-so light, check so-and-so this, check in. It probably gets kind of, you know, you'd be like, man, I'm getting tired of this, but in a space shuttle and stuff, you're getting help, you're getting mission control too is part of that. So submarine, you're on your own. You're just like the Star Trek Enterprise. You're just you and the crew, and there's no mission control talking to you. You know, you do it all on your own. So for an astronaut, you're getting help from mission control too, because they're monitoring all this, and they got sensors down below would tell at mission control would tell me things malfunctioning and what to look for. So they're getting a lot of help from them too. So similar, but not the same thing. They never have. Even on the moon, they had communication with mission control. They've never been on a mission where it's just them out there, and they had no communication with mission control. That's a submarine out there. Is that all the time. Submarines operate on their own. It's just like the Stanley Kubrick movie where they took the Nostromo or whatever and went to visit the Discovery, and they had to basically they're on their own. They could send messages, canned messages back and forth to mission control, but there wasn't constant communication stuff. They were pretty much on their own. So any problem they had that came up, they would have to, deliver it at that time. So that was the one thing unrealistic about the movie, because they only had a crew of about 9 people or 8 people. That's not enough people. You have to have at least, I'd say at least a crew of 80 people. It'd be more realistic, and you know, a little bit bigger of a ship. But you have to have people that are constantly monitoring what's going on in the engine room. You got an engine room crew back there. You got navigation. All that is a separate crew, and you also have to have a rotating shift. And I don't know what NASA's plans are for Mars, but there's just, it isn't going to work with just a small crew of 8 or 9 people. That just isn't going to happen. You have to have at least, you know, a rotating shift of 24/7 people, and there's constantly people going to sleep, people waking up, and you know, I don't know. I'm waiting to see some of the plans for what the spaceships they have planned to send out to Mars and back. But none of that's really come out yet. So it'll be interesting to see what the plans are as far as the spaceship is, because a crew of 8 or 9 just isn't going to be enough, you know. So it'll be interesting.